And once you drop the exchange in that position, he would lose the rest of his pawns. There's nothing left to play for. And he is suddenly in already a 2-point hole. And the match hasn't even started yet. It's crazy.
Yep. And it's crazy because like the analysis, the real-time game review did say G5 was best, but I thought it was for accuracy to hold the H-pawn. I didn't realize how deep that idea went. You called it, Danya. What a nice idea. Magnus Carlsen is up 2 games. Where have you been, everybody? We got 10,000 of you on YouTube. We've got 12,000 plus on Twitch.
Let's go.
Every one of you are now Danya Naroditsky's personal friend.
Aw, man, you're going to make me choke up here during commentary. That's not good. I want more. I want to show more lines, you know. I don't want to tear up. Saying
that a bunch of people you've never met on YouTube and Twitch are your personal friend, I thought was going to have you run screaming the other way. But hey, you're you know, no, I'm kidding. But just kidding. Thanks for making it part of your day. Give us your comments. We love you, chat. And Danya, where are we at here?
We're at a weird Nimzovich-Larsen position. Now this chat might look at these moves, knight a3, knight a5, and we don't have the time to delve into them. Suffice it to say that that is the main line. You often see that arrangement of knights in this line. We've transitioned into something resembling an English opening where I think Wesley might actually redeploy his knight from a3, bring it back, perhaps even to b1, and then up to c3 in order to clamp down on these squares, d5 and e4. And then I think the game will finally take on more standard contours, particularly if Magnus also brings his knight back to c6.
Well, it's funny because Magnus has another piece he'll probably fix long-term, which is the bishop on d6, right? Because the bishop here blocks the central pawn, who blocks the bishop, etc. So Carlsen has an interesting idea to consider as well, which is how do I fix both the bishop and the knight? You got to be careful. If you play... Okay, rook e8 and the bishop goes that way. Nice, right? If you play c6, you take away the square for the knight. So get the rook out of here, back up the bishop, and fix your structure preparing for d5.
But great point, Danny. c6 is how you would want to play this, and then bring the bishop back in d7, d5, kind of like the Kopek system, if anybody knows that opening. But because you've positioned your knight on a5 and knights on the rim are dim, you're kind of paying the price. I think Magnus is deciding on the move order here. He starts with rook e8. He's going to play knight c6, bishop f8, and eventually we're going to get a reverse Sicilian structure if he pushes d7, d5, which is likely. Of course, Wesley could try to beat him to the punch, but no, I think we're going to get precisely that structure momentarily.
Okay. Yeah, Wesley plays d3, which is flexible. Interesting. Magnus... He kind of accomplishes a hybrid of our plans, right? He goes for the Kopek, but he doesn't trap his own knight. The problem with that, of course, everybody, is that whenever you advance 2 pawns, 2 squares right next to each other, you are always making positional weaknesses. And now Wesley has oh my God, G4, what a move.
Incredible move.
To highlight the weak light square.
And this idea... Oh, wow, Danny.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just quickly going to add that this idea in the English was popularized by Shakhtar Mamedyarov 10 years ago or so, where he started basically pushing g4 in these quiet positions. And guess what? g5 is not just a paper tiger. It literally traps the knight. And if black plays h6, h4, and you've merely thrown oil onto the fire on the king side. But go ahead.
Dude, I got nothing more to add to that. I mean, it's like following you. You're that guy who makes a toast at a wedding and you're like, oh my God, I got nothing I can say to follow that toast. Might as well make an awkward joke and it reveals something from the past and humiliate myself and get out of here, right? So no, your line is really impressive. I love your point. G5 is a real threat. H6 just adds fuel to the fire. This is actually super awkward, and you saw the eval bar loved it when Wesley played G4. This is spicy.
You have to go rook back to f8, I think, in order to open up a parking spot for the knight on e8. I mean, and
wow,
there's no valet parking here. That knight will just have to move back, and he plays it because he has to. He plays it.
What a move by Wesley So to play G4. And of course, right now, these guys are both playing high-level chess, but Wesley's accuracy is damn near perfect still at 99.8%, and Magnus is dipping a little bit to 96%. Here comes Wesley with the attack. I want a dub. Again, I'm not rooting for anybody, but I am allowed to root for drama in terms of commentary, and I love how Wesley has played this game so far. I want the dub.
I think people maybe new to the commentary should understand that we are truly unbiased. We are in it for good chess. We love And I personally have the greatest admiration for everybody in the SEC. But obviously a close match is more interesting to watch than a blowout. And Magnus takes it in stride. He says, listen, congratulations, you kicked my knight back to e8. But look at all the weaknesses on the king side that white's created by pushing the g-pawn. How do you exploit those weaknesses? Well, by opening up the center, and that is precisely what Magnus is preparing. So we might see e4 from Wesley, but then he has to deal with a big hole on d4. I would go so far as to say that black might be seizing the initiative here if he pushes d5.
I love how knowledge just oozes out of you. You break your arm and knowledge just spills out. When you're on the mic, your chess rhymes are tight. And I want to point out that Danya just said something that is very instructive for everybody. When your opponent launches a flank attack, the first instinct you have to have is, can I open the center? So bishop to c7 and d5 would have presented a real problem for Wesley. Now he's kind of forced to play e4 because as much as this stops it, it weakens the dark squares, and here comes Magnus all over them. Oh my gosh.
King f1, you can actually still push d5 because the bishop from c8 drops into h3 with essentially a checkmate. What an idea. And so Wesley might have to block with the knight, but that's a super awkward move.
Dude, okay, if d5 is played, I wanted to drop a brilliant symbol on d5 and Magnus missed it. d5 was better.
d5 was better, but look at his knight. He's going into e6, massaging those weak squares on f4. And he says, Wesley, how would you like a knight on f4, threatening bishop h3? Okay, good stuff by Wesley, though, taking it in stride. And watch out for some sort of knight f6 check-related tactics later down the line.
This is some spicy chess, though, regardless of who wins, and I'm loving it. h4. Okay.
No, but this is horrible.
Yeah, this is getting worse for Wesley by the second. Here comes the knight. Here comes the bishop.
Ugh.
Uh-oh. Whenever Danya starts making sound effects instead of words, we all get a little antsy. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not going in the right direction for Wesley.
When was the last time you dropped a whoop?
It's been a while. I'm saving it for, the right occasion. I think we're close.
Yeah, okay, good. F5 is played, you called it. The F file will open up either by en passant or by the old-fashioned way, and Magnus is going to bring the house over here to the king side. Okay,
but what now? It's very much in Magnus' style to play a move like bishop to d7 here. He likes to sit on the position, right? A lot of people, I need to go for it. Magnus, he likes to improve on the other side of the board, b5 maybe. I think he's deciding on his approach right now. Bingo. I'm proud of myself.
I know, you were right. And I'm sitting here like, where did the game go wrong again? Wesley, e4. Yeah, I guess he panicked there and allowed this bishop e5 check. Sorry, I'm just like, how did this game get away from him? Not that it's over by any means, but he's down under a minute again. Magnus is on the grind here. The F file is crying, if you're looking at it from White's point of view. The F file is crying. And yeah.
It's crying. Wesley's crying. His clock is crying. And Danny, this is really what people don't always understand about facing Magnus, which I've had the honor of doing in Blitz so many times. You start out with so excited. I get to play Magnus. I'm going to bring my A game. A couple of games in, you're questioning the meaning of life, and you're asking existential questions about why you started this match. How is it that you're losing every game while making reasonable moves? How is this possible?
Yeah.
And then you come to the conclusion that Magnus isn't human. That is the path that you always end up taking.
Yeah. Why do I even play chess? Unfortunately, is how that can feel. Oh my God, he takes with the E pawn. I wasn't even thinking about the E pawn because and he just opens up the E file.
Wow.
It's so funny how that's the obvious move, but like a little bit counterintuitive to the first
totally.
eye meets brain, right?
Danny, taking away from the center. Why? Because the queen on e7. Look at the way his pieces are in such perfect harmony. It's like a symphony of each piece fulfilling a very specific role, and the boa constrictor is winding its tentacles. I don't think a boa constrictor has tentacles, but you get what I'm saying.
Hey, you get it. We're inventing new animals here, like the liger. Okay, my favorite animal just happens to be a liger.
Bishop e8.
Bishop e8, the queen will have to back up. The bishop might even just come to... Oh, yeah, Wesley just throws in the towel there.